And it's that time of the year again. VS Gaming Masters 2019 is here, and the boys are back. The Oh No, Not a Podcast Plan is back in ready and assembled to, talk the good things about SA Dota. Bob, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Good, thanks, and you, dude.
That's good. It's been a while since I heard your voice. Snare, it hasn't been that long since I heard you. I dragged you to ESC now as well.
Yeah, basically you're carrying me like you're carrying me in Dota, bro.
What you trying to say, Snare? What you trying to say? I'm a whole 3,000 MMR, I'll have you know.
I mean, that's at least triple my MMR, so it's all good.
It's more than some people playing at Masters, no cap. Dude.
Yikes, dude. Already started, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into the team flame and all of that, I'm going to talk about the tournament as a whole, right? The VS Gaming Masters event this year will be at Comic-Con again. Yay! It'll be played on the Saturday. Sorry, Dota doesn't get the weekend. We get Monday and Tuesday. That's when Dota will be played. And then the prize pool this year, 540k, so less than last year. I'm not complaining because it's still ridiculously high amounts of prize pool, right? Can't complain about that.
Dude.
I mean, if you win the tournament, you get 200 grand, bro.
Dude, it's insane, dude. Even coming last place at Masters, you make like a decent amount, and you just need to be 2k MMR to get there, dude.
Why did we sign up, dude?
I don't know, dude. Winning games at Bob is harder than a 2k MMR player, man. I'm just putting it out there. We played pubs together. I'm kidding. I made it to a LAN this year, guys. Syntech Masters, yay! And I got paid nothing. Fourth place, got nothing.
You were top 4. You were top 4
I was top 4, dude. I was only one place behind Sinister 5 in that LAN.
Yeah. I mean, actually, wait. If you're top 4, right?
And if we played Sinister 5 and we let Adestam get dazzled, we might have won.
Oh, man.
All right, that's too much shade. We're just starting off this podcast. Gotta be PC. Well, actually, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. I don't have to be PC this year because this year I'm not working the Masters event because it turns out if you flame a company that's supposed to hire you permanently, they don't hire you anymore. Shock Pikachu face. But yeah, so I'm not there. So that means I'm not casting Dota 2. Means I don't have to be biased or unbiased or anything. I can just be on my own podcast and say whatever the fuck I want, which is what's going to happen tonight. So disclaimer there, if you don't want honest and flame opinions, turn off the podcast. Now it's Carmel, Bob, and Snare, bitches. That's what you came here for.
You know what's great? You know what's great for me though, right? Because I'm still hired by these events, and I also think you're wrong most of the time. I can be honest and talk shit at the same time. Beautiful for me and still be hired. It's great.
You know what you got going for you, Snare? It's like you can come on and say something bad because you know there's another guy on the same podcast saying something 100 times worse, nah?
Just make it look good, dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm like the Rick and Morty episode where the Rick keeps the Morty around because it fucking interferes with the radar, dude. Nobody can hear the bad shit Snare says over the bad shit I say. What can you do? So talking about bad shit, I'm gonna get into my first gripe with Comic-Con. The biggest gripe I have with this thing, or the VS Gaming Masters in general, is that the format, a single elimination, right? So we have 8 teams who spend 6 months of the year and 21 days playing, competing, trying to get here, and they could be knocked out in 2 20-minute cheese strats games and they gone home. Bon voyage, baby. Snare, what do you think about that?
So I've never been a fan of single limb ever in any context because it's just like I understand why it happens. Primarily it has to do with timing, having to pay for every single moment of the game. It's like a lot of investments, a lot of time that's required to actually broadcast every single game, make the tournament compelling at a particular event. But I understand why it's done, but that doesn't mean I actually agree with it. It's very non-competitive. Like you say, double cheese can happen. You can easily lose. The best team in the world can lose to the worst team in the world randomly. Dota's a very complicated game. Just games in general. Anything can happen. There's almost no competitive endeavor where you can guarantee that any single set of games will result in the best team actually winning. Even the best team playing might not actually end up winning the game. So single limb doesn't really feel just not competitive. It's not really worth it at the end of the season. It's one thing if it's the first event in the rotation, but it's another thing if it's at the end. But again, we get it, understand why this is happening, but it's kind of a bad look and it's kind of disappointing for the teams that are playing, especially the dark horse teams, who kind of need to hit their groove, figure out what the rest of the meta of the tournament is, how the other teams are playing in the tournament. So whenever you don't really have that opportunity to figure that out, you end up in this weird situation where you lose, but you haven't actually begun to play the game yet. So does it really count as a tournament? The tournament only really begins in the second stage, which, then just might as well have a top 4 finals if that's the case.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's actually, if they had maybe last weekend, if they had a big qualifier bracket between the top 8 teams and the top 4 went through and they broadcasted that, giving publicity to the teams and made just the top 4 come through for a super cool event, kind of like Syntech Masters that happened 2 months ago, it would have been pretty awesome. I don't know, Bob, where are you sitting on that thought?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that we don't know that's happening behind the scenes, I reckon. Stuff that we don't hear about. And obviously they got I think VS/Comic-Con have quite a lot of time constraint, like Snare said. I think the biggest disappointment is from the players' side, from the team side, from the the organization, and also the sponsors. I just think having double elim is always going to be better than single elim, but I think they've probably done the best job that they maybe could have with the given situation. Obviously, there's lots to that we don't know, but I feel like the CS is the biggest loser here because I feel like the CS 8 teams are a lot closer than the Dota's 8 teams. I think the Dota top 4 will be the top 4 regardless of double elim or single elim. In terms of placement and who's finishing where, I feel like it's kind of okay, but like you said, not ideal, not cool.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the big losers in sort of the draw thing is actually the bottom 4 teams, right? Because I feel like the Sinister Fives, the Energies, the Goliaths, the WRGs, probably the WRGs, they got a tough match against XD in the first round, will probably make it through, right? That should be regardless. But I feel like in the bottom teams, right, you have Salt, Evo, Origin, and XD. I think Origin smashed XD the last 2 times they played him 2-0 both times. So you think, oh yeah, XD, we know these guys, Fearbender, yada yada. But Origin's gonna probably go further in the tournament if they match them, right? It's gives you that hype lower bracket matches that you kind of you're these are underdogs, 2 underdog teams playing against each other, and then you get to see some unexpectedly good Dota or really bad Dota but still entertaining Dota,
Yeah, and I think kind of maybe it kind of detracts away from this big Masters event. If I'm when I'm making a team and my goal is Comic-Con, that's probably not the goal anymore. Maybe I want to join VS Gaming, DGC rather, because that better exposure, more matches on LAN, etc., etc. If I'm one of these Origin Evo teams, I'm coming to play my first huge tournament, and I'm gonna spend less than an hour playing. A bit ridiculous, yeah.
That's a really good point, and that's the thing. That's why it's frustrating because we saw VS Gaming run their VS Gaming Championships earlier this year at the Maverick Center, and they had 16 teams. They had a really cool group format. They had a double elim bracket. Dota-wise, one of the best weekends we've ever seen in SA Dota, right? Super good Dota the whole weekend. Everybody got a chance to play. It was a cool LAN environment. So we have seen good formats from them in the past. Even last year at Masters, there was the double elimination format. Obviously, it was a bit different last year that we had a CSGO stage and a Dota stage. And I feel last year there was a bit more leeway. I think they got a hard lock on time this year, which is a bit sad. So it's got 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If that's the situation, unfortunately, they could never be double elimination on that brackets, because if you plot the time very well, it could work maybe, but the thing is at LAN events, something always gonna fuck up, and there just isn't enough time.
Yeah.
But in saying that, it's not an accident there isn't enough time. It's a fucking oversight. You have been planning this for months, right?
Hold up. Actually, I'll let you just think about this, right?
All right, go Snake, go.
Check this out. So we've spoken before, right, about how the move for the final LAN from Rage to Comic-Con, right, doesn't make the absolute amount of sense, given that Rage is primarily about not just gaming, but there's a large esport component built into Rage itself. Comic-Con is primarily just about geek culture in general, doesn't necessarily provide the pure platform for esports by itself, right? So one of the issues we've always had in SA esports for the longest time is that when the finals were at Rage, it was kind of a TI sort of situation where that was the only tournament that really counted. You made no money effectively. You could win everything else and you'd be okay, but if you weren't succeeding at Rage, there was kind of no point to the entire year.
Yeah.
So in this situation now, it's sort of the inverse, right? Where it's definitely not, we agree there's not a perfect situation and it should be better, it should be double elim, just off the bat, definitely. And we understand why that's the case. But at the same time, the fact that the year itself has been better than years beforehand, even if the finals are worse, to me kind of sounds better. Like kind of like you were saying, like for example, this Origin team, right, or the Evo team, have been doing much better like throughout the entire year than you would expect them to do in a single elim finals at the end of the year itself. But it's been better for them. Like in previous situations where Rage was all that mattered, or where one tournament was all that mattered, it's very unlikely we'd be even talking about an Evo or an Origin with players that aren't like known, but the team itself has actually just been sticking together and grinding for quite some time and trying to get some success in some way. So it feels like in this weird situation now where the traditional problem we've had, because it's inverted, it doesn't feel as like it's a situation where the entire community hinges on this one event.
I mean, I get you, Snare. I get where you're coming from, and I kind of agree with you, but I still think we still have the TI problem. Like the VS Gaming, the DGC, it was actually quite big. It was like a 60k prize pool. There was 4 qualifying slots. I mean, even though it was like a 60k prize pool, the intention of that event is a qualifier for Masters. They gave away 4 qualifying slots, and if you just look at prize pool in total of every single esports event put together, and it's smaller than these 2 Masters. I mean, every game, your fighting games, your CSGOs, your everything. It's still significantly smaller than the Masters. This is our fucking TI, baby. And I think having a TI as a single elim is a mess up. And I don't think it's it's single elim. I think that you are VS Gaming. You've been hosting tournaments for 10 years, right? You know your partner is Comic-Con. You've had a lot of time to plan this. If you then decide that it's single elimination, that's what it is. It's a decision. It's a decision.
I don't know if it's a decision though, because like remember how long like double elims, how many events have we been past midnight, dog? Like past 11, past 10. Like you can't actually do that at Comic-Con. Last year we did that, right? What time did we leave last year? We left at like what?
We had some long nights, yeah. Like
some really long nights, right?
Every line is the same situation. I get you.
So if it's not like if you can't get the full 4 days for just one event, like I'm just not sure there's where's the time to actually be able to make this happen? Just knowing how the event is actually going to pan out. Unless you start at, like, regardless of what time you start, like you said, things are always going to fuck up. It's always going to be some kind of situation. If, like, it's a bad look, you should be able to you should just have one event, right? Like, either have CSGO, like, have CS at Rage or at Comic-Con, and then have Dota at Rage or Comic-Con. Pick one or the other. That's kind of the situation that you have right now. Doing both sort of guarantees. If you don't have the allowance to go up until late into the night, it's guaranteed you're gonna have single elim. And I get what you're saying, right? You know who the partner is, and you know what the event is going to be calibrated towards, right? Long in advance, they tell you, listen, this is the booking we have for the event, this is the booking we have for the time slot. So
they knew the venue as well. It was announced quite early that it's going to be at Gallagher this year.
You have all this information, right? But then the choice is, it's either you do Comic-Con or you don't. And like I don't know. Like I think it's a bad look, but I'm not sure. Like if we're thinking about capitalism, right? We're trying to make money here. This is about at the end of the day,
I get you.
We're making economic decisions.
Prophecy on the Esports Central podcast summed it up quite well. He's like, yes, we don't like it. Yes, it could have been better, but at the end of the day, this is what it is. It's not the biggest train smash. It is a train smash, but like the show's still gonna go on, right now.
Yeah.
So I think, Bob, any last thoughts on the format?
I agree.
All right, Prophecy. The fucking bringing the wisdom all across another podcast. Yeah. So I just want to cut the conversation there because I think if we like keep on with this single elim thing, we could probably go for the whole podcast. And I'd like to get into it at some point, right? So let's start from the bottom tier teams. Okay, so we got Salt, we got Evo, we got Origin, we got XD. Now I don't want to talk about the bottom tier teams too long. Because to be perfectly honest, I don't know that much about the teams this year because obviously I haven't been that active as I've been in the past. And we only going to see you motherfuckers for 5 minutes. Y'all are going to get wrecked in the best of ones and y'all are going home. So there's not much to talk about here, to be honest. Because I could have spoken about like an XD versus Origin match, for example. Yeah, Salt versus Evo match. Nothing. Evo going to get fucked by Sin 5. Salt going to get wrecked by Energy. Origin are going to get castawayed. And, okay, WRG versus XD I think is quite a hype match in the bottom half of the bracket. That's the quarterfinals, right at the bottom of the bracket. And what do you think about that match, even, Mr. Bobules?
I think it depends who is playing what role on XD. I think if Nick's playing Pos 4, right?
He has to be, I'm sure.
Yeah, he has to. Because, yeah, Jarek's mid, Fib in the safe lane. Okay. I think they can actually pop off if Nick has a decent game. Decent shot caller, decent player. I think he can carry his team with some good calls, and I think that's the only possible upset, right? I mean, WG are quite a solid squad. They kind of like stick to their game plan and just roll with it no matter what. And I kind of like their drafting style. They're not afraid to pick heroes early and even pick the counters to those heroes, and then kind of work a draft around that. They were very good with their Nyx Assassin Ember Spirit opener, which was like, I mean, Nyx is probably the biggest counter to Ember, and they would always pick them together, so you could never counter pick the Ember that hard. And Ember didn't really have any counter matchups back then, so yeah, I mean, I think that's the only potential for a supposedly upset. I think XD will be quite confident, actually.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess out of the big four, there, WRG, GG, Energy, and Sun 5, I think maybe WRG is a squad you want to face.
Yeah.
WRG, like you said, impressed me a lot at the Syntech Masters as well. I think they drafting, like you said, was super creative, right? And like they had these solid strats. They pick strong lanes, they pick scale, they played. Like you said, when they pick a draft and have an idea, they play regardless. They don't give a fuck, right? And it was very successful. I was super impressed with them at Syntech. I don't know if they're gonna bring the same form here to Masters. I do still see them edging out XD. I think XD as a team, for me, is very disappointing, Snare, because I think if you look at their players, I think they should be a lot better than they actually are. Like, I mean, during the Syntech qualifiers, I feel like my team, TKC plus 4, that was the fucking team's name, and that was what the team was like. Nearly wrecked them. Like, I think we kind of threw game 2 and game 3, and they beat us in a 2-1. But like, the game shouldn't be that tight. Like, we have one really good player, and they have supposedly 5 good players, and then we have like 4 3K players. Then they can't beat us, like, and then they barely beat us. So it's a bit disappointing. Obviously, it's quite a while ago now, so maybe it's a new reformed XD, but I'm not completely sure. Like,
so there's this concept that comes from fighting games where you speak about being in a character crisis, right? Sometimes you get really comfortable playing a particular style of way. The game changes and it changes ahead of you. And you XD definitely do have a situation where the players are better than their results, and for some reason it's just not clicking. However, I actually think WRG is going to 2-0 them.
I think so as well.
But you know which team I would actually want to play the most if I was coming in as an underdog? I would want to play Sin 5. Yeah. Because Sin 5, when was the last time you saw Sin 5 win a game where they were outdrafted? It's been a minute. Like, Sin 5 has, like, this is a team where if the game is going according to plan, they will never lose. But as soon as the plan changes in some really peculiar way, suddenly the team itself just seems like kind of lost. And it can very often start just like directly in the drafting phase. You can see like a couple of heroes get, if you third ban Lone Druid, and then maybe you like first 3 banned, if you fourth ban LD, first 3 ban like Tusk, take out LC, Enigma, Earthshaker at some point, maybe you pick it yourself, you'll probably beat Sin 5. So I don't know. I feel like I get it that of all the teams, it seems like WRG would be the one that's like easiest to beat. But I kind of think that's probably why they have the largest X factor, because I've been wanting to see them get like dumpstered for a while, and every time they lose, it's never like a major loss. It's always like they're winning the game and then they fail to win the game, then they lose. It's never like, okay, you got dumpstered from minute 5 onwards, GG. So actually, I think this is my dark horse team. I think WRG is going to get top 2.
A certain K-Chick, they said that in an article as well. I don't think they're going to get top 2 because the bracket they in is the unfortunate bracket, right? They got Goliath Gaming in the semis, and we'll get to Goliath a little later on, but I think it's a bit of a difficult task. On the other side of the bracket, I want to go back to a Sin 5 point where I think, for me, coming into that Syntech Masters, right, there was that best of 1 match against Goliath to make it to the upper bracket, and they play Goliath there, right? They're playing them. It's a best of 1. That Goliath Gaming has Whelp, it has Deppy, it has RDK, it has Trax, it has Mental, but Whelp, RDK, and Deppy, basically, right? That team is looking scary. They monsters. Sin 5 coming in, like, obviously, new roster and shit, obviously, from the start of the year. And you think, okay, they're playing this Lone Druid draft, it's their comfort zone, but they must stay timing. I was like watching, I was like, shit, this is a Lone Druid draft, going past 40 minutes. I don't think they can really win against Goliath here. It's super tough. And then they managed to just like edge one out. They outplayed Goliath and they win like one of the most epic Dota games I've seen in SA Dota. It was like a 65-minute epic with base races and shit at the end. It was a phenomenal game, and I'm like, damn, Sin 5 looking strong, right? And that was the best we've seen of Goliath from Sin 5 like the last 3 months. It was after that they were so bad. I mean, we saw that one Adestam Dazzle game, and I memed about it at the start of this podcast, but he literally AFK farmed on Dazzle, minus TP boots for 35 minutes against like a draft that scales way better than his own team's draft. And then like after he's like 6 slotted at 35 minutes with 800 CS, he's Goliath woke up the high ground in the lower bracket and they just win like 2 minutes later. And it's like, shock Pikachu face. What the fuck did they think was going to happen in that game, right? So it's like, they had this one stride, it was good, people figured it out. Like when WRG played them, they counterpicked the Lone Druid in the first 2 picks already because they knew it was going to come. And they smashed Sin 5, right? So I don't know if this team has some new strats coming into Comic-Con. If they don't, garbage. But I do feel like on form they're coming in garbage. But I think for this event, they'll be more prepared. That's what I think. I think last year was a similar situation. They looked shite coming into Masters. They finished 4th at the Asus ROG thing, the Meadow State hosted. They finished 3rd at the Ballistics thing where Goliath beat them again. So they were looking shit. And then they were looking much better at the tournament itself. So I think they would have done some researched their teams, practiced new drafts, had some new strategies, and they could be looking good. But
it's not about recent performance. Bro. It's not about research. Not happened in between Syntech and now, bro. Not happened. TI, bro. Fucking TI,
yeah?
bro.
I guess so. New patch and stuff as well.
Bob, bro. Weren't you inspired watching TI, dog?
I'm always inspired watching OG, dude. And I feel like Sin 5 need to take the flower power. But just speaking about Sin 5, I feel like they're extremely predictable in their drafts and in their play style. So if I know if I'm playing Sin 5, I'm most likely going to get a tri lane against Aghanim, and they're going to try give Dennis a 1v1 in the side lane somewhere. And obviously they want to give Adam a good lane, like regardless, that's any mid laner. But now, and I can prepare well for this. I think that's what Energy did at WSG. They gave Dota and Die Enigma, and they put a Solar Sven against an Enigma. So now Enigma's Eidolons are like completely useless in lane. Their little pocket strats at the Syntech Masters, their Dazzle, Lone Druid, Phoenix, Legion strats. WRG banned, I think, 3 out of the 5 heroes required in the strategy in the two heroes required in the strategy in the second phase, because they picked it in the first game of the first round. They like showed their best strategy, and then they tried to pick it again, thinking their opponents hadn't watched the game, and they realized like, oh shit, what do we do now? They had to pick Alacrity Invoker to resemble the Legion commander, like W buff on the bear. So it was a bit silly. And then like if I'm playing against Doom Bunny, I know between the 4 and 10 minute mark, if he leaves the lane for more than 45 seconds, he's gone to place a deep ward in the jungle. And I know that, like, just from watching all these games and playing against them, like, I know this is going to happen. So, like, I think they need to, like, really refocus and readjust. Like, I think Camille said, like, change their strategies and try not to be predictable. And they shouldn't show their top strategies against Evo. They should just hold until they play Energy. Or assuming both those teams win, which they should. But like, don't show your best hand at the start of the tournament. Like, keep your pocket strats, keep your strategies for when it actually matters.
Yeah, I think at the Syntech Masters, obviously they showed their best strategy right at the start, right? But I think it's the right game to do it, right? You put the fear in people's heart. You beat the best team there, Goliath Gaming, with a fucking 9k MMR player there. You like assert your dominance, but then that can't be your only strategy then, right?
Yeah.
And all right, go Snare, go.
I don't know. I feel like of all the teams that, so Energy had not major, but like had a roster shuffle basically. GG, same thing. Warp left. Well, it was kind of like, it's always been kind of fluid for GG, but now RDK is playing offlane instead of playing carry. And RDK is really skilled, can do what he wants, but is still somewhat of a difference. And WRG, somewhat more stable, I think probably like in the best position. But I kind of think that of all the teams here at this event, the team that would realize they need to adapt the most just as players, and not adapt in terms of their individual players, but in terms of their own play style, would probably be Sin 5. So if there's like the team that's more, they should be most prepared. Like if they don't lose the first game, it's like okay, fine. They'll probably figure something out about themselves and can carry their way through. But we'll see. They're probably the highest ceiling, lowest floor. I think this team is, right.
Yeah, that's a good way to sum them up. And your TI analogy, who I thought about, who fits in 5 at the Syntech Masters perfectly. It's Fnatic, dude. They come out first game, they smash EG. They have all these top tier players in their team. Obviously, Sin5 have some weak links. Not gonna point fingers or anything, but they a really good team. And then they show up against Goliath Gaming, and that's it. That's the best you're gonna see the whole event. But again, that's another tournament. Masters is a different story because like last year, they came in, they were like OG, they were the massive underdogs because they were looking shit the whole year. I mean, you had that Lead Pro squad with Chidawi and Welp and RDK, etc. And it's like, yo, this is a super good team, right? And then like that should be the team that wins. And Sin5 fucked them up twice. It was a whole LGD versus OG thing all over again. Okay, Lead Pro are much better. Sin5 beat them. Whoa. LGD are much better. They're going to beat them in the finals. Sin5 fucked them again. It's like, they literally were undisputed champs last year.
You know what it was? Okay. And this is going to be the perfect hook, right? You know why I think they won last year? Trax. The boy Trax.
I can tell you why they won last year. It wasn't Traxian. It's because Deppy was in the other team.
Right. So let's hear this. Let's hear this, bro, because Deppy and Trax are on the same team. What's going to happen, bro?
I don't know. I don't know why he's playing. Maybe he thinks it's a free win. But like I had from more than one account that last year they lost because of Deppy. They played 4v5, and if you're missing a core in like a final, you can't win, dude. So...
No, I don't have the whole inside scoop and shit, right? So I'm not gonna comment on the underbelly of this shit because I obviously wasn't chummy with all the guys, so I don't know the real inside scoop there. But just with my fucking 2 eyes alone, I would also be happy to blame Deppy, right? There's no debating whether Deppy is a good player and all that shit. Yes. We knew he was 6k MMR last year. We know he's 8k MMR this year, but doesn't excuse the fact that he's playing a game in the finals, right? We all know Deppy doesn't have any respect for those Sin5 guys. I won't quote him what he calls them, but literally, he decides he's going to play Shadow Fiend. Now, if anybody remembers last year's patch, Shadow Fiend wasn't even a tier 5 fucking hero. And twice in the finals, his call is, I'm a mid player, I want to pick Shadow Fiend. It kind of went similar to how LGD maybe's Shadow Fiend game went at TI. It was, yes, you're going to dumpster Adestam in the lane. Fuck, good for you, but you're going to lose the game. And that's exactly what happened.
Yo, listen. That was a year ago. Shit happens, right?
I think it's much better now, I will say.
The question is, what's going to happen now, right? Because I think, I definitely was a component of Tilt last year, right? But I also think that, sometimes you have this player on your team that just elevates. You remember 2015 TI5, where EG won?
Yeah.
No, TI6, sorry, where Wings won. Where DC went all the way to the finals. And a lot of it was predicated, like the team played really well, they drafted well. But the special ingredient was Moo. He was just like, he was the Seb of the team, basically. Got this guy from OG. So I'm wondering this year, right, if you have the hard tilt capabilities from last year, say, of Deppy, versus the hard anti-tilt of Traxian, is this going to provide the perfect middle to just carry you all the way through?
All right, so let's tell GG to fuck off. Sin5 to fuck off now. And let's talk about Goliath Gaming, actually. Everybody here is, I think, top pick for the event, right? This team, I think, is significantly better. This team is better than. Actually, I don't know if it's better than Elite Pro squad last year, but I think this team's going to win the event here. And let me say why. Okay, I think one, Deppy is significantly better now than he was then. I think and also he's playing a new role. I think he's a legitimate 8k MMR carry player. I think he's that good at carry. I don't think he's an 8k MMR mid player. I don't think he's that good on mid, and I don't think that's not his main role. He's a carry player, right? Like, obviously, he started off in mid and he used to dumpster people and shit. But, on a carry, I think he's much more stable. Even at WESG against, pro teams, his PA getting fucked in lane and stuff came back and, solo carried games. It was insane, right? So, he's looking much better. Obviously, like you said, you got the backbone of Traxion there. He's just a guy, he keeps shit together. He's pretty chilled. He's, got a good attitude in game. And, obviously, the biggest factor The God is back.
Say his
God
name.
is back, man.
Say
My
his
boy
name.
Travis.
Woof.
Just a wee bit of a fanboy, you know. But I think
Just a
like
little bit.
me and Bob were chatting about this before the podcast started, right? And it's a case of undisputed. Welp is the best player ever South Africa's seen. He's been top 10 in C. He's hit the 9K MMR. He's Welp. You can ask any of our pro players and they'll tell you Charles the best, right? But in the SA Dota context, right? There's nobody you can think of who's going to carry a game harder than Castaway. Am I right in saying that, Bob?
Yeah, he's just like cool, calm, chill guy. Just does his thing, rocks up in your lane, kills 3 heroes, goes back to the mid lane like nothing even happened, dude. I promise you, I remember playing against that guy, and we were doing so well in the lane. We were like, okay, we're gonna go gang this guy top, and then we go and we kill him, and Castaway's there already, like TPing from the mid lane, killing all of us, and we're just like, what are we doing against this guy, dude? Like, he just knows exactly what we're doing. So I think like, if I'm preparing to play against Goliath, I think I need to win the 2 side lanes like as hard as possible and hope I have a counter against like Castaway's hero to win the game. Because I think if Castaway's on like some mobile hero like Quap, Puck, Ember, Invoker to a certain extent these days, and something which can help his side lanes in the first like 10, 12 minutes, then I think the game's going to be real. And that's if the side lanes are going badly. Like I think he just fits in like super well to their kind of style, what they're gonna play.
You have to ban so many heroes, right? You have to ban all of those. You have to ban Leshrac. You have to ban like. Does he play Alchemist?
Probably Alchemist is a bit dead now, I think. Though.
I mean, it's a bit dead, right? But how many times have you seen? Like, do you want to play? Do you want to play Alchemist? Do you want to play against Castaway Alchemist? Like, it's a kind of a dead hero, right? But the rest of the GG team is aggressive enough to create enough space that the deficiencies of the hero can still be caught up on. And it's, I don't know, but like, there's just so many things you have to ban, get rid of in the game. Like, what do you do? Do you even bother banning mid heroes, or do you just try to like all in on the side lanes? Just accept that mid is a wash.
I'm not quite sure when the meta at the moment. I think it'll probably develop as we go along. I feel like you just ban stuff. I mean, I suppose you have a certain strategy going into the game, and maybe you just ban heroes that are good against your strategy. But I just want to give another shout out to the guy doesn't get that much praise in the GG squad, and that's Mental. I feel like he's a bastard. Big brain, POS 5 player. And the thing that impressed me the most about him, I think it was at that LAN that they won with Soup.
Yeah. And he's playing offlane, right?
Yeah, there was a like a zoom out shot of them during like a pause period. And there's my man snacking on some nuts during the middle of an epic, dude. Showing that he's got like that big brain mentality of like, I need to stay like energized. I'm gonna snack on some nuts, healthy fats, keep it going for a long period of time, dude. And I was like, that's my boy right there, dude. He knows exactly what he's doing. Can't get in this guy's head. No way you beating him, dude.
I kind of agree with your call on Mental. I think like obviously the core 3, RDK, Traxian, and Mental kind of overshadowed now with the big names of Castaway and Deppy there, so they're getting more of the limelight. But I think, like, Mental, he came into the Dota scene, obviously, was supposed to join Bob's legendary APG team. Didn't last too long. But then when he went to Goliath, he started off as a POS 4 player. I think he was a very good POS 4 player in South African context. Great. Then, when he was winning a LAN, he's playing fucking offlane, right? Great. And now he's playing POS 5. Obviously, I don't think it's too hard to play POS 5 with, like, Deppy and Castaway, of course. But still, showing versatility. And I think he really is one of those cool, calm, and collected players. Like, I think his drafting last year especially was so good. He understood SA Dota meta better than anybody. He's like, I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing in the first 10 minutes of game. I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing in the first 20 minutes. Even the first 30 minutes, I don't think. Because at 45 minutes, Mazi's going to carry me and we're going to win, right? That was the mentality. And it worked 9 times out of 10.
I want you guys to think about something, right? That since RDK, Traxion, and Mental have been playing together, I don't think they've placed less than top 3. And every other player in the team has changed. But as long as those 3 have been together, it's been smooth.
They get a really good thing going. And like I actually flamed them.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't flame them, but like you had Traxion. No, it was Sticklish was playing that back then as well.
Yeah, Sticklish also on the team, yeah. But Sticklish
that's when RDK was like carrying everyone. Like,
yeah.
And they played their roles like absolutely perfectly because they would just run down mid and they would just feed and make space, and RDK would just be getting huge, and you would be playing the hero that like no one can counter, no one can play
Every
against,
game.
and it just worked, dude. It was like
Yeah.
it's like why am I watching such bad data and they just feeding around like what are these guys doing? What are these guys doing? The next 15 minutes, Goliath have won the game.
This reminds me of something that I once at when Sinister 5 was still XTC. I think it was 2015, right? 15, 16, 17, I don't know. But Chidawi said something to me. He was like, after they lost their first game, I was like, yo, what happened? And then I know it was actually Costa. He was like, I don't know why these guys aren't that good, but I don't know why they're so good together. It makes no sense to me. And I kind of feel like the same way at GG, where like the whole is much, much, much greater than the sum of its parts.
No, dude, I disagree, dude. You know why that
don't
team
think,
was so
bro?
good?
Yeah.
Because RDK is a fucking god, dude. The man's hit is 96th prime, dude. He literally, like, you know, I made the joke last year in the South African, in last year's Masters, right? On the CSGO side, when I said the second best team in South Africa is Domster +4, when the fucking academy team had him join for like 2 weeks and they fucked the whole event. I feel like that's how RDK is playing.
So
literally just 1v9 in the game.
So if RDK join XD tomorrow, if RDK join
Okay, all
tomorrow,
right. That's like 1v15, my guy. That's like RDK playing with 4 Miis. Okay, that's a bit of exaggeration. XD's better than that. But yeah.
But so if they join, if RDK played with us right now, would we beat these guys? Would we be able to go hard? Would he carry us to victory?
If I pick him Naga Siren, I think he would. Like, I'm not
We
even
beat
making a move.
WRG, dude. I'm pretty sure.
We beat Sinister 5 if we let Alastan play Dazzle, but then I don't know
Oh
how
my
much
God.
RDK has to do with that.
Nah, guys. Like I don't want to underrate like this. You know,
Okay, all right,
you know what
maybe
it
I
is,
agree
right?
with you.
Okay,
I
not
agree
it
with you,
is,
like,
right?
I think
I don't think it's just about the skill, right? You know what it is that even after losing games, I've never seen RDK that happy after losing a game, and I've never seen Traxian that happy together. They're just like, and they would be memeing and lolling and having themselves actually a good time. Like, remember after that event at the Land Maverick Center, at that Masters event, afterwards, the GG bras, after losing a game with Sub, were much happier. They were like, alright, it's all good. Sin 5 were the ones stressing out, being like, Jesus Christ, things are weird right now. GG's like, guys, let's chill. We're having ourselves a good time.
Yeah, dude, there we go. Just have fun, man.
This
The
is like some
power of
OG, this is
the
OG magic,
friendship.
dude. This is OG fucking magic, dude.
That's
know-
what I'm worried. Deppy's gonna take it away, dude. The man just like he's the only reason if Goliath lose any game, it's because of him. I'm gonna say others like he's the way into Goliath to beat them, but I feel like it's too difficult because I think Travis is like I said, pretty cool, pretty calm. RDK just
Super
doing his
cool.
thing, dude. I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do offlane, but he's gonna do his thing, dude. Somehow it's gonna work. And
They're gonna be like the old KP strat. They're gonna pick him pause 3 Naga and he's gonna get a radiant century.
Pause 3 Ricky, dude. You hear it, heard it. It's gonna happen.
Passy
Talking
Ricky's
about
actually
sorry,
legit.
going on about that RDK X Factor at the LAN now at the Syntech LAN. Obviously, it's the most recent LAN. That's why I'm bringing it up all the time, boys. Not because I played there, you know, first LAN ever for your boy KC.
Yes.
Fourth place, 1 behind Sinister 5. In the final game, RDK was like, obviously he's a big Ricky fan, well, quite a toxic player, not gonna lie. He's like, yo, I want to play Ricky, saying the whole tournament, and Welp and Depi are like, no Ricky for you. This is no fun for you. It's gonna be had here. And in the last game, RDK is just like, he messaged DM Strax and he's like, yo, pick me Ricky, I'll carry this game. Fucking picks him Ricky, dude. Imagine how your team must be feeling. You DM sliding, you're doing picks like this. Imagine the pressure for RDK. You're like, yo, I'm telling the guy to last pick me Ricky when my team doesn't want to. And man's fucking smashed, dude.
Let me
Correct.
let me weave you guys a narrative about GG that I realized, right? Check this out. So for the longest time, GG, last couple of months, they were picking Faceless Void, Ricky, the odd Ogre game here and there, even though they'd feed with it, Shadow Demon, Earthshaker, and Naga Siren, right? And we were all memeing when they would do this shit, just like, GG shit, whatever, you guys are doing your thing, just go off. Whatever happens, RDK is gonna 1v9 the game, it's fine. And then TI happens, right? And then I see OG winning games with GG drafts. I was like, what the fuck is happening? So it's like, alright, like honestly, The only thing that can go wrong right now, I think Bob, the only point that the point Bob brings up, right? The only thing that can go wrong is if their morale goes south, then they can lose. But the morale stays fine. It seems like okay, be legit, Camille, right? Be legit. Can you imagine, will your boy Frank beat GG?
No.
Like, if it gets to that point, I don't think so. Like,
I
don't
just
think
picture like something like this happening, right? Like Goliath lose game 1 somewhere.
Against Sinister 5.
RDK is just gonna drop a meme, dude, and then everyone's gonna be happy again.
yeah,
He's just gonna meme.
and they win the game.
And then they win, dude. Exactly.
And they win the game. Memes win games. All right, but let's not be unfair, guys. Let's talk about the other teams, right? So we have Energy, Salt as well. So,
all right.
Energy. What do you think about Modeste? The substitution and the role swaps.
Can I start with the Energy? I've been looking forward to this for the whole podcast, man. You know, this is where the spice is at, right?
Let it out, dude.
So Energy Esports, right? It's a prestigious team coming into WASG, smashing everybody, 2-0 semifinals, 2-0 the finals. You know, things are looking great, right? This team is like, yo, you got the old boys, Chosen One and C1 back. You got the fucking 8K MMR support Mark there. You got TKC, the 4-hero wonder, you know. Shit's going well, okay? Then you get to DGC 2 weeks later, 2 fucking weeks later, right? They're there, they're playing against Sinister 5, game 1, 70-minute game. Sinister 5 are diving the base. Nobody has buybacks at this point in the game, not the enemy gyrocopter, most specifically. The energy gyrocopter, right? You have Sinister 5 diving the base, Chosen One dies. 3 seconds later, everybody on Sinister 5 dies. Now, obviously, there was a case of the GG was called by C1, who typed it immediately after he died. Not a tilt GG, of course. And it would never be a thing like that. And then, obviously, Sinister 5 going to take the game because you can't call GG at that point. And then, like, obviously, the game's done, right? Because they wouldn't have, and Sinister 5 said this, they wouldn't have dove like that if the GG wasn't called. So, all fair. No drama around that at all. But the fact is, the team got wiped, right? I mean, TKC got a 4-man co-op ulti. Since 5 guys died, you don't know where they would have dove. You don't know, right? So that's one thing that happens, right? It's a fuck-up game. You probably would have won that game. You could have not won it as a 50-50. But after they lose that game, where they totally weren't tilted, they smash Sinister 5 in the next game, and then in the third game, they lose. Now it's like, we just won a tournament. We should be confident, right? That wasn't the case. This team then loses to Goliath Gaming, who they also beat 2 weeks prior. Obviously, this Goliath is significantly better with Soup being in the team and not Rip Pink. That was a bit of a yikes squad. This is much better. But then this team is just like, okay, so now we were a really good team, but now we're not a good team. Because the first sign of trouble, they like start to crumble. Like even just listening to team comms and stuff, like it's like, yo, we need to do this and we have to ban this thing first. Like I think the like level of faith that they had in themselves dropped, which is a bit sad because if I think about Filthy Frank as a captain, it's like he is 8K MMR 4 players specifically. In the first 20 minutes of the game, he literally wins this team the game by himself, right? And many a game, you see a 10K goal lead at 20 minutes. Like, not exaggerating. That's just the leads they get. But once they get there, it's like they feel like they have to do something. They have to do something. And that's how mistakes happen, especially in South African Dota. And then they end up crumbling and losing, right? So I think it's a bit sad to see a guy like Frank, who's as confident as he is and as good as he is, have that like lack of confidence. Maybe it's his teammates or maybe it's himself. I don't know where the lack of confidence comes, but then they end up choking, I think. Then after the choke, and they finish an abysmal third after just winning an event, they decide they're going to kick a player. Who did they decide to kick? Obviously, TKC. Now, I'll full disclosure here. He's my brother. So obviously, I'm going to be honest. There's some bias, of course. But like, I don't really give a fuck because it's my podcast and I'm not working. There's no reason for me not to be biased. I'm just going to say what I say, right? They kick TKC. Then the player that they decide to replace him with is a certain well-known player who was originally supposed to be in the team, ACG, a guy who got caught for racism 2 weeks prior to that. And now it was a big whole deal. Articles were written. Me and Snare spoke about it on a podcast and shit. There was multiple tweets going around. And we were like, shit, this is real bad. But then you know what Chad did? He did a good thing. He's like, you know what? I'm going to apologize for this shit. First and foremost. First, he fucked up his apologies. It was really bad. Then he's like, you know what? I've reflected on this. I'm gonna be better. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to put myself on the bench for a year. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to work to be more wholesome. You know, go to counseling and shit. I was like, wow. I was like, obviously, I'm a brown guy, but I was like, fuck, I'm impressed. This is good shit to see. And obviously, I was happy to see it from Chad because Chad has been quite one of those, I think, what's the word, like leaders in the South African Dota scene. He's done a lot for the scene, right? And then 2 weeks later, TKC gets kicked. Quite ironically, the brown player gets kicked. And then the guy what they want to hire is ACG, who happens to be everybody's mate, right? So now this is a case of, whoa, they're going to play with this guy. But 2 weeks ago, he said he's not going to play because he's taking a break. So that's a bit of a yikes. And then, I don't often get to say this, but I was so proud of the South African Dota scene. From the MGO owner to the TOs to everybody, it was like, that's not going to be a thing. You might have thought this is a good idea. You 4 white guys thought this was a good idea, but it's not a fucking good idea. So shut that shit down. And that was like pretty PMA stuff in terms of SA Dota taking a stand. But in terms of practicality in the team, it's a fucking dumb move, right? They're playing with Modeste now. Obviously, no shade against Modeste, but the guy hasn't played a LAN since 2016. I think the team lacks a mid player. I think for a while after TKC got kicked, obviously you guys were playing with subs, right, Bob? Where Frank had to play mid. Like I don't think the thought was really there. It was like one of those, I don't know if you've seen the gif where the guy kicks the soccer ball and it bounces and hits their face. It's real funny to see. But yeah, it's just that's just how it is.
What was everyone thinking, right? What was everyone thinking? Because like, say for example, so check this out, right? So I'm black. It's a real thing, unfortunately. Memes.
What, serious? I wouldn't have noticed.
Who would have known, right? So the bookstore that I work at, right? I live in the neighborhood. Ernst Rutz, the deputy CEO of AfriForum, lives nearby my hood, right? So every now and then he comes to buy books. Now, I'm not gonna stop Ernst Rutz from doing his thing and buying books, right? But I'm not gonna sell Ernst Rutz books. Like, if I'm in front of Ernst Rutz, I'm gonna be like, dude, this can't work. I know who you are, I know what you've said, I know what you're about. I know you, not personally, but I know your public persona. Therefore, I can't associate with you, right? So in this situation, ACG does the right thing, actually, like you said, right? Does actually the right thing, says, you know what, I'm going to chill. And this is one of those situations we can actually say, shout out to Muzzy, because Muzzy was caught in a very similar situation, but I haven't heard almost anything from Muzzy. He's been laying low for a long time, which is a good thing, right?
Oh, well.
Well, okay, maybe that's from me. I haven't seen much, right? Yeah, but you might correct me. But as far as I've seen, he's been laying low from my side, which is good. Do this thing. So with ACG, so it's unlikely that ACG was the first one to come through and say, hey guys, bring me on the squad, right? They probably, you kick your player first, or whatever the order of operations is. If TKC gets kicked first and then Frank hollers at ACG and says, yo, come through to the team, Frank already has made an error in judgment. ACG should be like, what are you doing? Dude, relax. I don't think this is a good look. Do something else. Nah, this is just a bad idea in general, right? And if it's the opposite direction, Frank should be like, yo, dude, this is a bad idea. Think about what you're saying right now. You're supposed to be chilling on the bench right now. Just relax. Take this year off. Don't worry about it. But now, what did they think was going to happen? Like, was everyone... like, that's just I'm thinking. Like, what was the plan? Where was this going to go? Like, now you're here and it's like, oh, we're all just going to be like, oh, it's chill, guys. Like, everything's fine. We don't know why you're not on the team you were originally on, but now you're just on this team and everyone mysteriously has no idea what happened and no one's going to bring it up. No one's going to talk about it, It's not like there's any kind of racial issues in South Africa, especially in the gaming
Dude, the
scene
best thing Mark told me. The best thing Mark told me is like, yeah, but if you look at internationally, right, they said like, this is not how it was dealt with ever. I was like, you know where you live, bruh. You live in South Africa. It's a punishable to jail offense.
But
saying the K word.
Camille. Apartheid was 25 years ago, bro. Get over it.
So about that AfriForum guys there, I'm kidding. Carry on.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't understand what the plan was, right? So, do you guys remember?
Yeah.
Well, no, but how would you imagine this conversation?
The plan was to win Comic-Con.
But like,
okay, so to get the best player possible.
Yeah, ACG definitely was that guy.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just no consideration into what's happened before, and like, I feel like everyone saw the problem, but them. That makes sense.
But even on a player-for-player thing, like this is where my opinions kind of change on certain people, because I thought the priorities was being like a winner. Like when Frank was captaining BVD, it was a case of he kicked TKC then, but he was kicking him for Donny, right? And he had a goal. He wanted to win that WESG. He had to beat the fucking monstrous WRG squad that never lost the game in South African Dota for 2 years. It was a big task, and he took it upon himself to be the guy who's going to do it. He failed in the end, but I respected the vision there, right? That was a fucking... Filthy Frank was my guy, dude. It was like so awesome to see a guy try to do this. Like still now, from a Dota perspective, I respect the guy a lot. But then now it's a case of, oh, okay, no, I'm not taking Dota so seriously. Now I'm playing, just playing with my mates and stuff. And the problem started before TKC got kicked because Phalanx was in the team. And Phalanx got the boot. Now I'm not going to blame Frank solely for this because there's 4 other motherfuckers in the team, right? So this team who was quote unquote the friends group booting a guy who's supposed to be their mate. Gone, right? Fine. They get TKC. They win a LAN, right? And I'm not being biased. Snare, you casted the game. How did TKC play at that LAN?
Hard carry, Ember, 1v8, easy game, dude.
Played well. He played well. The whole team played very well at that.
Like TK, Puck was actually a garbage hero and still is in many respects, but made it worth a ban. I was like, alright, okay, you're doing really well. Yeah, played amazingly actually.
But now in this case, and I'm not trying to shit on Frank here in any way because like I'm really not. Me and him had a personal discussion, like friend to friend. We spoke about this, but I'm just saying, like the logic behind the kicks don't make sense because then again, now you're kicking. Like I would discuss this the way I would discuss any kick. Like for example, if Sinister 5 had to kick Schlinks right now, I would have the same discussion. I don't know, like I don't have personal relationships with those guys, but this conversation happened. So like, I know I made the joke about bias and shit, but I'm gonna try to give my analysis here, right? You kick TKC now, right? So he's a core player. He was playing mid. And your replacement is ACG. Now, I followed SA Dota for 3 years extensively. You could give, like, obviously, Hero Pool was the reason they gave TKC only played 4 heroes, but Frank only wanted to pick him 4 heroes. If you go look at Tamir's rank, it's a bit more versatile, but obviously, I kind of agree that Tamir's much better on those 4 heroes, right? But now, I can't definitively say that ACG is better, right? Maybe he is, right? Give him a 55 to 45 edge. There's like, maybe that's the gap. I don't know if you guys agree. I don't know if you guys disagree. You can add to this later. But I don't think the change is that big. But then if you look at the other cores in the team, this is where I will say the big issue comes from. If you want to boot a guy, fine. But who's your offlane player? Chelsea. Now, Chelsea obviously was a god-tier offlane player in South Africa for many years. In this day and age, man's been shaky, right? He's been real shaky, okay? I don't think he's anywhere near his prime, obviously. Life goes on, he's getting older, he has job, he has shit going on. I don't think Dota is his highest priority either. But the fact of the matter is he's not playing that well. We've seen some real poor games from him, right? Then you also have Chosen One. Now this is a guy who in the tournament had a call on Alchemist where it was the final game against GG, do or die game, where Frank misses a stun in the Roshan pit, right? The call there is to back who jumps in? Chosen One. Chosen One also playing Sven. He has a game where he's playing against an Omni Knight, level 15 talent, or is it 20 talent? I'm not sure. I think it's 15 talent. Doesn't take Stormhammer dispels. Like, there's like all these glaring mistakes. And not to say TKC played perfectly, not by any means. But I'm just saying, I don't know if I could make the argument that Chosen One is a better player than TKC. I don't know. Like, he's already split opinion. If you ask Chosen One friends, they think he's really good. And he has moments of real brilliance. But if you ask anybody else, it hasn't been the same response. I don't know if it's just me I'm asking or people are speaking to me. So I don't know. Where do you stand there?
If you guys were just going to kick one player, who'd you kick?
I would have kicked Darren.
In Energy?
Yeah, in Energy, yeah.
You've
seen TKC, Chelsea, Chosen, Frank.
Yeah, firstly, actually, that's the best option.
Yeah, I don't think
just want to fucking land.
Yeah.
Carry on, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, I've been within their team, and I know he was kicked for communication issues. It's not his play. And I think that's probably like slightly underrated as how important communication could be as a core player. Like mechanically, TKC probably better than everyone in that team besides Mark. But if you're playing in a team of friends and you don't talk or you don't communicate well, you're most likely out. No matter how well you play. You make mistakes. You're getting the spotlight on you. Just getting. Yeah, I think that's the big one. That's where maybe ACG would have been a lot better because ACG is quite a good communicator. compared to TKC. TKC is more like the quiet guy, do your thing, which actually probably fits into the energy team rather well because you got Mark bossing everything, and you got Andrew talking quite often as well, Andrew C1. So having someone who is quiet and just doing their own thing, maybe not such a bad thing. But I think they just looked at it and said, he's a scapegoat, we're kicking him because he doesn't talk enough. You know what I mean? Like when you could just like look at it as being like, oh, this guy's more of a quiet player. That's okay. But if he's not like listening to calls and running off and dying against like instructions, then that's a problem. But if he's not, if he's doing his job, being quiet, communicating the essentials, that's okay. But I mean, we don't know really what happens in that, like within the games. Only they would know.
Well, we know that Chosen One didn't listen to Mark's call, where he said don't fight in the Roshan, but they ended up losing them the game, that one, right? So obviously, I'm not gonna like ISIS thing. I think Tamir does have a communication problem. That's always been known. But this is like the thing. Like if you know Frank's played with Tamir before, so has Darren. Darren actually said before TKC joined the team that he doesn't like playing with Tamir because he's too quiet. Doesn't think he's not good. He just thinks he's too quiet and doesn't like playing with quiet players. But they made the decision, right? And then it's like shock Pikachu, oh, this guy doesn't communicate. And I do think it's a scapegoat. I don't think it's a legitimate kick. Like,
I mean, if you look at OG, I mean, they're like, obviously there's like a huge difference, but like, I bet you Thompson and Anna barely speak.
Yeah.
I bet you they barely speak, dude. Maybe late game, when Anna is his time to shine, maybe then that's when he steps up. But like, other than that, I bet you No-Tail and Seb are running
even
the show
G-Rex makes a
all the
hell of a
time.
lot of calls.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I think people just, especially in the SA scene, just like pick on things which they don't like about people, and they just harp on them. Whereas like, hey, let me accept this about this player. Maybe I try to build on it and maybe just say, hey, I speak a little bit more instead of just being like, cheers. You know what I mean? It's quite a simple situation.
All right, so let's go through the bracket predictions, boys.
Let's analyze the rest. I feel like we spoke about the kick maybe longer than we should have, but fuck it, I don't know. This is a weird conversation. Let's talk about the energy team as a whole, right? I think the perks of this team, in my opinion, is still Filthy Frank. Man's a fucking god, right? I think Pause 4, best one at the event, and I think he'll do his due diligence. In the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game, nobody's going to have more impact than Frank in the game, and I'll say that full confidence, 100%. I do think, again, the core is shaky. Andrew Chosen One can have very good games, but he can also have like games where he'll be so clinical and then he'll make that one mistake, and as a carry, that's going to cost you the game. I think Darren, well past his
I think Darren's playing Pause 5.
Is he playing Pause 5?
Yeah, Modace.
Oh, Modace is playing offlane. Okay, so it could be a bit different.
I think so.
Yeah.
I know that Darren does want to play offlane. So I think, in my opinion, I think Mo is the most important player in this team, just from keeping everyone in check. I
spoke to Mark. He did say he thinks he's going to play Modace Pause 5.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah. But I'm not 100% sure. I know Strike is going to be playing mid now, though. That's also an interesting factor to talk about.
Then I think it might be a little bit different, because I feel like... Oh, no, I'm trying to think.
Maybe they do play Modace Pause 3. Like, maybe Frank doesn't want to give away the
I'm just trying to think, like, if any... So all those players, besides Nikki, besides Strike, if they all having bad games, you could, like, hear it in their voice. Whereas I feel like you need someone who I think, I thought this person would be Mo, who could like see the bigger picture. Even if his score is like 0-8, 0-11, having no impact on the game, can still like have that positive influence on the game. Still have that like positive outlook and keep his team like upbeat. I think that team is quite negative and quite like toxic. Especially if they get behind. And they're just like the team speak's very like negative team speak chat, and I think it just like kind of affects their mentality slightly. I think if they just need that like one positive guy saying like, actually this is okay, once we get this item, this hero gets this whatever, this level, we actually just gonna like ruffle stomp them, roll them over. You know what I mean? That makes a little bit of sense. Because I've played with them a little bit, and yeah, when you're losing, it's not great, but if you're winning, it's like, it's just super easy, I think. And I think Mo also brings that extra calmness to the late game, where I think you mentioned they were struggling a little bit. Yeah. Because they do stomp the first 20 minutes
Almost
hard.
every game.
Yeah,
almost every single game.
That 30 to 40 minute period where they need to close the game, where I think Mo has that experience and just that like extra calmness. I think, hey, let's push this lane. Don't do anything drastic. We're gonna wait till Rush spawns again and then gonna go in. You know, like stuff like that.
Yeah. I think for me, I think Strike is also a very underrated player in SA Dota. I think the man is really good. He also one of those players that makes a lot of small calls that are really important, right? He looks like a very quiet, introverted guy, but in game he makes a lot of calls. I think he's just very good at Dota. Now he's moving from POS 5, which he's played for like from last year till now, moved to mid lane. He plays a lot of carry and ranked. I know I played a couple of ranks with him back in the day, party ranked. But I used to be a mid player way back in the day. I don't know how he's gonna do there, but like I think the skill is not the thing I really question in this team. I think it's just volatility. Like you say, if they're having a really good game, we could see this team make it all the way to the finals. Maybe even give Goliath a run for their money. But I think the first sign of trouble, this team's going to crumble. So game 1 against Sinister 5, I think is where the tournament will get decided. If they can win that game, maybe they 2-0 Sinister 5, maybe they make it to the finals. But if they lose that game, this team's fucking finished, in my opinion.
I think they will have the most strategies coming into the game, into the tournament. And I think Nikki will play. He'll have like a 3 to 4 hero pool, and they will be like heroes that don't really lose mid, I think. Or they'll pick him a good matchup if they have last pick. Or they might just like first pick his hero, you never know. Like I see like him playing like Necros, DKs, like weird heroes that don't lose mid lane. Zeus, stuff like that. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah,
heroes
yeah.
that are just like
the Matu heroes.
Like heroes that I would pick myself mid. I would pick myself Dragon up mid. Doesn't lose lane.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Respect that.
Obviously he's a better mid player than I would ever be, but like he wouldn't lose the lane as hard. Like I would worry a little bit about him versus like someone like, so this is the thing, right? If I'm looking at energy and I look at the mid lane, I either look like, oh, don't worry about the mid lane, let's focus on the side lanes. And like Nikki has the potential to actually dominate the lane. Like you have to not like discredit him or like discount him. You still have to focus on like, hey, let's try focus on like maybe this is the weak hole. This is where we really have to like stamp the foot and like push through this team. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean,
so the matchup was a Sinister 5. How do you think that will go? Because I think that's a very predictable semi-final. I think we would see that semi-final.
Yeah.
Just have to beat one has to beat Evo, Sinister 5 has to beat Evo, and Energy has to beat Sol.
I think Energy will be super prepared and they'll have a strategy. And I feel like it might hit Sin 5 quite hard. Yeah.
All right. Interesting prediction. Snare, where you at with that one?
Yeah. Energy Sin 5, right? I'm Sin 5, honestly. I kind of feel like Mark might get cocky and decide not to really go all in. I don't know. Actually, I just have a feeling that sometimes dissatisfaction can be a really powerful driver. And every time that Sin 5 is dissatisfied for long enough, they end up winning a big tournament. So at least coming top 2. So I think this might be the same situation this year.
Sin 5 remind me of, I know you referenced someone else earlier, but Sin 5 remind me of the Hotspur.
Tottenham Hotspur.
Like, especially this year, right? Like they just do, they're so good. They're always there, and they just never win anything, dude.
I know. For me, it's like the OG. Like they made the comeback last year. They won the Masters against all odds. They were shit for the whole year, like OG were this year. So maybe, I don't know. I think I kind of agree with you, Snare. I think Sin 5 probably make it to the finals, and I think if they're in form, they're the only team that can give Goliath a run for their money. But I do think if Energy does, like, they win the first game convincingly, I think this team does. Like Frank is good enough to carry his team. Like,
They're extremely, I think you're right. That first game's the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. Certainly is the case.
But it's a big confidence thing, because I think it's not a case of overconfidence. They're like, it looks like confidence, right? But it like stems from that insecurity thing. Like they feel like they have to win, right? They're so much better than these guys. They can't lose to them, right?
That's why I think they lose their games, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's at the like negative chatter in their games. Yeah.
Because like I think it's like a big thing to mask. It's like they act so confident, but they're actually nervous about the games, right? That's why it's like that.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. I can agree with that.
Yeah. So if they win game 1 against Sin 5, I think this team is fucking dangerous. But I don't think. But if they don't, then they're gonna go out super quick. That's my take. Then in the next bracket, obviously we have Origin versus GG. I think Origin for me is like the proper dark horse team. Like these are the guys, the underrated team. These are guys have stuck together the whole year. They're like the bottom brackets in 5. You know, they've been playing together, grinding the whole year. We could have seen good results from them. Maybe beat the XTs. Maybe get a lucky game against like Sinister 5 or something. But
I think my dark horse is Salt, bro. No, dude. Salt has beaten.
Salt.
Hasn't Salt beaten like Sin 5 and WRG in this year already?
Have? Like, I mean, maybe they have. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me.
I think we lost the game to Salt.
Yeah, so Salt is my dark horse team. Yeah.
Like a full series.
No, just the game.
Oh. Okay.
No, just the game. Yeah, it wasn't like a full series.
We almost lost game 3. That was with me playing and Rick playing.
Yeah.
It doesn't really count.
Yeah, that's fair. So I guess I will say for the bottom half of SA Dota bracket, I haven't watched I haven't been a part of the SA Dota for a very long time this year. I haven't really followed. So I don't know all the teams as well as I did like last year or so. So I don't really know how good the Salts and stuff are. Like maybe we do see some upsets. I'll be happy to see that, right? That'll be super cool. See some dank shit, but I don't really think so. Like just from looking at things.
It won't be a full series, but it'll be competitive. It'll be the only 2-1, I think, and top in the first round.
I can get with that. So I think Goliath goes through there pretty comfortably. And on the other side, I'm gonna favor WRG versus XD. Like I think XD, again, on paper they've looked good the whole year, but they've disappointed the whole year. I don't think that's gonna change now.
I think if XD can manage to win a game, WRG will be ultra tilted.
That is fair.
And I heard the best description of Precious Petunia that I've ever heard from any other person in my life, and someone just said he is a glorified right clicker.
Yo, boss.
That's all he is, dude.
Yo.
And that's why Lina is his hero, dude, because it just makes you attack fast.
Bars. Yo.
If you see that guy play any other hero, SF, Kunkka.
His Kunkka was pretty legit at the same time.
No. His Kunkka doesn't hit spells. If you get X'd, you're fine. If he casts boats on you, it's not gonna hit. I mean, his Lina is the only hero that he can play, I think.
I mean, it was a first phase pick to them for a while, you know. It was a bit of a meme when I used to see that. But
yeah.
I don't know how it goes. I think Harry the Hands had really good performances on carry though, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I think the rest of the team's really good. I think BE. I mean, I think his task play is almost up there with Mark's.
I killed him twice in lane at land, just saying lost the game 20 minutes later, but killed him twice in lane.
I should say his snowball mechanics was pretty good. Mark's task is something else. Yeah, I think they have some cool pocket strats. I think Reaper is just a solid pos 5, always going to do his job, and Jappa is either going to rage quit or he's going to do well.
On the carry again,
There's no in between for that.
No, there's no in between, dude.
You know who gave me the best Precious Petunia line ever? It was you, Bob. Remember that game we casted? The Lead Pro versus, what team was it? It was Epoch or some shit, right? When RDK was playing with Precious and they had stand-ins, and then the European player played for one of the games and shit. And then Precious has a triple kill on Tinker, super cool, and literally 30 seconds later gets caught in the trees and dies, and and Bob was like, this is the most Precious Petunia game. This last 30 seconds sums up Precious Petunia perfectly. Ultra pogging or what the hell's going on?
He just dies when he walks up high ground as well. Every high ground Precious Petunia will die, dude. I'm telling you now.
Alright. We know you have a bit of a beef with Precious Petunia. I'm just saying, disclosing the conflicts here.
Bias.
I was just having some in-game banter, dude, and he got personal. He started explaining me personal stuff, dude. There's no need for that, bro. No need for that. You can play my Dota skills all you want, dude. I don't care. I'm all for it. But if you know nothing about me, don't start shooting me personally, dude.
That's a good point. It's below the belt, Yeah. Funny SA Dota story, right? I'm playing a game against Muzzy in an SA pub. Man picks Tinker, right? I know Muzzy and I know how much he hates me. So I didn't say anything the whole game. Then he's playing Tinker, and about 22 minutes in, He buys back, or about 20 minutes in, he buys back, and in 22 minutes I kill him, and then I just tip him, dude. I don't say anything, and the man fucking broke, dude. He typed so much shit in chat. I was dying, dude. I was like, look at this guy, dude. I fucking knew that's gonna happen right from the. Not even. I didn't even say anything. I just. A 25 tip, dude. Not even a 50, not even 100, like a 25 shit. One tip.
The ultimate disrespect.
Breaks.
Yeah, that's no chill, bro.
It was so good, dude. Now I think a lot of like people don't understand this, and why it's like super funny to see is that I think a lot of like gamers or like esports players. I'm not gonna speak globally, but I think South Africa, it's like this is what these people are really good at, but they kind of like this is what they're good at. This is where they take pride. This is where they find a sense of self-worth in how good they are at games. So it's like the minute you like question that by tipping, for example, it just tilts them to the moon. It's pretty crazy, actually. I found it hilarious though, and it's hilarious because I expected it.
Tilt is a real thing, man. Tilt happens. Hey, man, I can't talk too much trash. I'm a salty gamer myself, so.
Not just a gamer, just salty full stop. Yeah, salty full stop. But back to the game. So we got Goliath versus. Bob says maybe XD. I'm gonna put WRG for that semifinal.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna put WRG as well.
All right. I think I wonder, like, WRG looked real close to Goliath in the Syntech finals. Like they had 2 or 3 games of that best of 5 where they were leading. I was like quite impressed. So I don't know how they do in this. I think like we could just see the Castaway show and the Deppy show and RDK maybe doing well on offlane even, and Goliath smashed him 2-0. But I don't know, man. Maybe they could do it, dude. They have like super innovative drops and stuff.
I feel like if WRG win game 1, they win the series.
You think it's the same like tilt factor? I don't think Goliath will tilt though.
No. I think Goliath will 2-0 them pretty easily. Like you got Castaway versus.
Yeah, they should 2-0. Yeah.
And I think people just tilt against RDK in general.
Good.
Like RDK just makes teams tilt, dude. It's just the thing. And if he's gonna do it on offlane, I mean, I think so. Yeah. I think
you know what RDK reminds me of? Did you remember Sylar in his primes there when he was just like, dude. He was just that uber tier, like farm the whole game, carry you Chinese player, dude. That's what RDK reminds me of. He doesn't care if like that PS land where like Sticks was just walking down with dying. Chuck's walking down dying. Everybody was dying the whole game. Score was like 22-1, bruh. But you look at the net worth chart, the man's up there, dude. And you look at the net worth chart 5 minutes later, his whole team's up there because he's so big and he just carries the game, dude. It's like typical 1v9 gameplay. That's all RDK is known for. Obviously, he's playing possibly now. It's gonna change, but I think I kind of agree with Bob. I actually just see Goliath going through the whole bracket like smashing. I think the only team that realistically beats them is Sin5 if they have another miracle run. That's my opinion.
Sin5
does
something cool. No, just if they just do something cool, just play differently. Just pick something else, and it'll be fine. You can win the game.
This is the thing. I think the issue. So I just want to say something quick. So I think the problem when you're playing against Goliath now, because they got two. I mean, regardless of who their offlane players, they got 2 of the best scores in the tournament, right? Yeah.
Oh, in the tournament.
Yeah, so they got Deppy and Castaway. Now I feel like the strategy for me would be to try stomp the laning phase as much as possible. But I feel like stomping laning phase is not as like relevant anymore just because of the tomes at level 10. The 2 tomes. You could be a 0-6 +5 Lion. Died 6 times before 10 minutes. You can go mid lane, 2 creep waves, hit level 6 and go kill their carry at 12 minutes. And then what's the laning phase? You know what I mean? Like it's just over. Doesn't like all the feeding, all the hard work that the teams put in, you could just hit 1 creep wave, get a tome, and then go team fight and win the game. That makes sense. Like,
yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I feel like laning phase is less important, and I feel like the tournament's actually going to be decided between that 12 and 20 minute mark. Like the games won't end then, but like that's where the setup's going to be. If teams aren't like really hitting their timings then, and they allow Castaway and Deppy to farm, it's gonna be over. Like, yeah.
for that description right there alone, that's where I think that's why I think Sinister 5 is the one team that can take it, because they do have those sort of strategies where we're going to hit our timing at 20 minutes, we're going to get that Roche at 25, and then we're going to push to end the game by 30 minutes, right? We've seen, like, they've struggled putting up high ground and stuff in the past, but I think when they're on form, they do execute that stuff, and I think they are the one team that can take it. I do agree.
Yeah, but what's their push strat besides Lone Druid?
Yeah.
I mean, they must have another strategy, because Lone Druid's banned. That Lone Druid strategy is actually perfect for that. But like now the teams know it already, right?
Yeah. They're gonna need new strats. I don't know what they're coming in with for this tournament, but like that's just my theory about Sin 5 versus Goliath game. I think this Goliath team also is like, I don't think you can really win the laning stage against them either, though, because Deppy's not the type of player who's gonna play like some lane where he's gonna get fucked. Like he always wants to win his lane, right? And if you, I don't know, like I'm 3K MMR. I don't know, like, mechanically Dota stuff at the finest. Obviously, hence why I'm at that MMR. But, like, if you, as mechanically skilled as Deppy in the lane, playing, like, a carry in a good matchup, and you know that this guy is, like, sort of like baby rage play, and you have to sit and babysit him, I don't see him losing the lane often. And also, I don't think you're going to, like, 2v1 cast away mid and it's going to be too effective, right? Like, if you're, like, picking, like, fucking Razor Skyrath, just camping the guy mid for 10 minutes, I don't think it matters. I think at 10 minutes, he's going to make it one good rotation. He's going to fucking kill 2 heroes in your safe lane, and then he's going to come back and carry the game anyway. Like, I don't think legitimately you win the laning stage against them. I think RDK is probably going to get sacked a lot. Get a bit of a... Yeah, get a bit fucked. But other than that, I don't think shutting them down in the laning stage is going to be a possibility, to be honest.
Yeah. So I feel like because they've been exposed to like such high level Dota, they should know what to do when they're being pressured. Like, even if like you say, if they sit like 2v1 mid, they put like a Skyrath, Pods 5 Skyrath, who Arcane bolts you non-stop. Like, Travis is going to know what to do when during that game. You know what I mean? Like, just like you said, like Deppy will know what to do when someone goes to creep skip. He'll know what to do when someone pulls the lane to the side. He just knows that stuff. You know, like, and like what to do when my support's about to pull the lane. Like, where do I play? Do I play? You know, he just knows that stuff. And those small differences, like you say, just like add up. If they go aggro tri lane against Deppy, like he'll get the most out of the tri lane. He'll get way more out of the tri lane than any other player would. And then that's like half the strategy shut down already.
And when you know you have Deppy as a carry, if you look alive, you don't care. You just swap the lane immediately. If you let RDK get like level 3 at 8 minutes, I don't think you even care about that, because you know if Deppy's playing one of these heroes on carry, like if you swap the lanes, you're gonna get so farmed. Like, and obviously you have the shot calling ability from such experienced players, so Deppy's will be able to call out the lanes and stuff. I think the team is really tough. But for that reason, like that they like good in the laning phase and like scale well and shit. I think that's why again I'm gonna go back to Sinister 5, because Sinister 5 they manage to do well in laning phase almost every game, like quite consistently there. I think if they can carry the momentum into the mid game, they have to win in the mid game. Like, I don't think you're gonna get to a late game situation and be like, okay, we're gonna like make better calls as cores and stuff and outscale Goliath. I don't think that's a possibility. I think you have to beat them in the mid game, like legitimately. And this is where, if I think the other finalists could be possibly Energy if they beat Sinister 5, I just don't think they can do it. Like, just the skill difference alone is too big, I think.
I think that Energy Sin 5 game is going to come down to who's actually had the worst lead up in these few weeks, or these like 1 or 2 practice weeks. Because I feel like the people who are losing the most are learning the most, and they're going to do better at the tournaments. I feel like if Sin 5 are stomping the EU pubs, the EU scrims, they think everything's great and going well. It's a different story when you come to to a LAN in South Africa, where strategies and picks and stuff are just completely different. I think that's what they struggle with. I feel like if Sin 5 are getting dumpstered in all their scrims, they have to adapt. Otherwise, then you're just useless, right? I mean, if you're losing, you have to ask, why am I losing? And then figure out why I'm losing and try new stuff.
That's what I'm saying. We're losing a lot lately, so that's what I'm expecting.
So there we go. Then I think Sin 5 are going to do it then.
They're gonna do it in the finals too, though, Bob.
Come here,
Can
bro.
they do it all the way?
What you gotta do, bro? Trust in your boy Dennis LC, bro.
Oh God, you know, I think I legitimately think that hero is so bad, dude. Because okay, and obviously I haven't watched Dota and stuff for a long time, and TI is over and shit. But like in that Syntech Masters Week TI and stuff, I'm like, I couldn't stand to see the hero. But Dennis, And the worst thing is he makes the fucking thing work, dude. Now
He
every game I'm
didn't
like,
die,
oh god, they
Elsie.
pick Elsie. It's not gonna be a game. Then he manages to do it, dude. He manages to do it. I think I have to see a better performance from Adestam for me as well. Like I think last year at the Masters, I think Aghanim played insanely well. Like he was playing a lot of those like green heroes because people tried to shut him down a lot. So the Necros and stuff, he scaled very like he played that green hero role well and still scaled because heroes like Necro was pretty good then. But then he also like his uber hard carries were like you had to first ban his spec, you had to first ban his PR. Obviously the heroes were very broken at the time, but like it doesn't matter. The guy played super well in last year's Masters. I thought he was the most solid carry at 2018 Masters, way better than RDK for that event and much better than Odu. Fucking Odu carry that event was a bit of a yikes. But this year, like I got him like his lone druid performance. I think you said it during the game you were casting, Snares. Like he it's not like the same as watching Adestam lone druid. And it's a bit sad when you have that you're picking this lone druid and it's not like versatile in that sense, right? So I think if Aghanim steps up, it'll be really good to see, and hopefully he does. But I think Adestam is like the biggest question mark for me. If I see another performance like that Dazzle thing again, I'm actually just like, I think I'm gonna take Dota like malfunction. Dude, my brain's just gonna shut down. Gonna have to tear my eyes out or something.
And I mean, who makes that call in that team? Which for me is the biggest thing. Like, who says, Adam, you're gonna play Dazzle this game? If I was ever on a team with Adam and I made him play Dazzle, I would flame myself and I wouldn't flame Adam. You know what I mean? Like, give Adam heroes.
Yeah.
Don't make him play
Allow him to go off.
Dazzle.
How about guys that happens? We've seen it so many times. We see how many times have you watched maybe lose a game playing like some DK or some shit, and you're like, alright, it's cool, guys. I feel like definitely it's one of those things where at some point you just have to be like, okay, guys, let's not take it that seriously, because I always feel like whenever Sinister 5 bust out these really weird heroes, especially for the mid lane for Adam, it comes in game 3, when they're not really certain about the direction which the entire series is going, and then they kind of say, okay, how can we sort of out-cheese them? Just relax, play one game of Dota at a time. You lose this game, it's all good, go to the next one. You can even pick the same heroes. Like, very often the problem isn't even the draft. Just play Dota and it's fine. They feel like that kind of team that sort of outthinks themselves into a loss in ways that don't really make sense. Adam will be like, okay, I just need this one item, guys, I'm gonna change the whole game. It's like, well, you don't really, just go now, dude, it's fine, don't worry about it. So just relax and play Dota.
For me, I know I'm going on about the Dazzle game endlessly. Why for me that was like such a fuck up to see that is because they the Dazzle mid is like a very clear play style, right? The man went the Necrobook, he went to Midas afterwards, that's fine. Like you go Midas, you scale super fast with the XP talent and and you farm really fast with the Necrobook and shit. But then you play fast with that. Like at 20 minutes, at the 15 to 20 minute mark, like their team they made a good rotation, top 5 men, they win a fight, they take a tower. That's your timing. Like they carried on playing like that. They could have just won that game. Like I don't think Dazzle mid is like the most difficult thing to play ever. I really don't. Super strong in the lane. Adam won his fucking lane the way he was supposed to be. Made good rotations like in the early game. And just play with your team, man. It's like not.
But they're not gonna pick Dazzle this event, dude.
But no, they won't.
Yeah.
And I agree with Bob. You shouldn't even try to think like that. Let Adam play his heroes. Right? I think Mark made the best comment about it ever. Why he used to first ban TA playing against Adam, even after like the nerfs and shit, is that it doesn't matter. He plays every single hero like it's Templar Assassin. So why not just ban the hero that he wants to be playing, right?
Yeah, that's actually such a good point. Like he plays every hero the same way, and I feel like you need to find those heroes which are meant to be played that way, and give it to them. Like he plays these DKs, DPs. His SF. I don't know. He had one SF game which was good, yeah. No, but like those are like objective takers, timing heroes where he likes to run around and farm.
Yeah.
Whereas
I guess so.
Like you always see like his DP DK will always be like highest net worth when they actually shouldn't be. If that makes sense? Even though it's like a great thing. Yeah. They should be second net worth, making space for my POS 1 hero who's actually gonna win me the game and stuff like that. So it kind of
because I also don't know if I'm a strong believer in that.
Yeah.
In that POS 1 mid thing anymore. I don't really think it's like it's not the way it used to be where you can have like a player like Sumail in TI5 where it doesn't use your POS 1, right? I don't think it's like that anymore. In any case, I think your carry needs to
a bit of the meta as well. He wasn't playing Didn't play Ember Spirit. What were the popular mids back then as well? I can't even remember.
Like Ember, his win ranger was pretty good. It's quite solid. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's a win. Win is a good hero for him. A hero that can run around and do its own thing. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Just ban TA and then win.
We see how it goes, dude. I think Kunkka also got a very big nerf in the last patch. I was a bit sad, but I think I don't know. Do you think it's unpickable at this stage?
Unpickable, dude.
I think we're gonna see it still. Wild prediction, but I don't know. I think.
Like
So
okay,
it
might be just pickable.
I think we've analyzed everything so far in this podcast, right? It's just like final thoughts at this point.
Final thoughts.
All right, I think I want to know what your guys' surprises that you think you'll see. All right, I think the surprise for me, and the thing I'm most excited to see, is gonna be Meepo strats for some reason.
I mean, XD are gonna pick Meepo even with his 5 counters.
Oh,
but is Jerick Meepo good? Because we played against it. I didn't think it was that good.
I mean, it just hits the jungle and farms, right? And it comes out with the item before any other hero. It's like similar to Ulk.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm not following the meta. I really think Energy are gonna produce some very interesting cheese strategies. Because I know those guys and they are next level with their strategies. And I feel like they'll pop up something, I hope. Some interesting heroes. I actually don't know anything. I wish I did. I could drop and look like a big brain analyst, but I don't know anything.
Dude, I want to see Mark Treant on the main stage, dude. One more time, baby.
There is going to be some Zeus and Ricky. A lot of it. Maybe not that much Zeus, but there's definitely going to be lots of Ricky. And lots of
as I said, I haven't played Dota for a long time, so I'm not going to make any Dota predictions, but I think maybe we could see an upset in the WRG side. I know they're in the top side of the draw, but maybe one game we could just see like Goliath getting caught on next. But I think it's not going to be a 2-0.
I feel like an upset could just be Goliath winning 2-1, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still maintain if WRG wins game 1, they win. They're gonna make
I don't think they'll tilt. I don't think they'll tilt. Because I think Jeppy can get mad, but it's not like he's unconfident. I think on carry he's like really good, man. It's really good. So I don't know. So for me, biggest upset I can think of this event is WRG winning a game there. I think top side, I think it's pretty straightforward. I would be willing to bet money. Whoever wins the first match versus Energy versus Sin 5 is gonna win the match and go to the finals. And bottom half, I think WRG maybe take a game off Goliath. That's my wildest shit I can think of.
Yeah, seems fair.
Yeah, that was the podcast, boys. That was it. Hopefully it wasn't too salty. Hope we didn't go on about anything too long. But at the end of the day, I just hope you enjoyed it, man. Just hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for listening. That was Ono Not on a Podcast. Yet again for the Masters Finals. Yeah, let's see if these play analysts know anything about the game or they're just fucking wrong. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye.